the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle dripping heat, tigers strike the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' who day, time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who day in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounds, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes be tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who got 'em, who rockin' on? Now who wanna move closing on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em, yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em. Bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Bengals Talk with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the back-to-back AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. Now, do me a favor, if you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 2,139 subscribers. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, why not? Please do so. Please go to the YouTube channel, Bengals Talk with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for notification, and every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you want to support what I'm doing, got a very important question you want to ask Drew Garrison about his Pat McAfee appearance or something like that, give me a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave, this beautiful, glorious place down there. The Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. So if you got a house, you're looking for a house, an apartment, condo, or you have a property you just don't want to manage anymore, give T Properties a shout. They'll take care of the rest. And you know it, I wear it every single freaking day. We're in his jersey today, but we have the best quarterback in the league. His nickname is Jackpot Joey. His name is Joe Burrow. You can get the merchandise there at jackpotjoey9.com. Portions of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund. We also got the beer. I'm telling you, people, it's in limited supply right now. We're going to crank it back up in the summertime, but if you find it, you better buy it because there's not many left. Like I said, probably June, July, I think we're going to crank it up again. But it's award-winning, delicious, and again, portions of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund and the Joe Burrow Fund. Other than that, let's get to the comments here. All right, let's see. Heads up to everybody in the chat crew. Strangers first. We got Brad, Jungle Jerry, Paul's in there, Crypt Keeper, Pork Chop, Foxy's in there, Greg Graves, Richard, Kevin's in there. That's good. That's about everybody in the chat. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the show. Let's get to this man. Now, he's kind of a big follow on Twitter. He's kind of gotten big time on us. He's on Pat McAfee's show. He's doing stuff for Betfred. If you don't follow him, you should. He's Drew Garrison. What's up, Drew?
That was a nice intro, but you made me seem a lot cooler than I actually am. I am not any of those things.
Hey, you get to be a Pat McAfee show. That's pretty damn cool, I think. I like McAfee. So let's just get into that real quick. Because I know people have wondered how the hell did that happen?
Well, it started week 2 when we lost to Dallas. I watch that show all the time. I tweet about it a lot. Yeah. I watch it every day. So I've always enjoyed it. I feel like I kind of relate to those guys. But we lost to Dallas week 2 last year. I tweeted him. I was like, I'll pay you to let me bitch about the Bengals on your show, just playing around. And he sent me a DM. I'm like, oh, shit. And he was like, record a 30-second video of yourself and I'll run it on the show. So I made a video, lost my mind, said a bunch of shit. That was really it. And
Right.
then the AFC Championship game with the Chiefs happened again, and I actually got a message from Boston Connor, which is one of the guys on the show. He's like, "Hey man, like, do you have time to come on today?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll cancel everything." Like, sure.
You only got a million people watching the show. Absolutely, I'll come on.
But it turns out, so I think that he thought I was gonna like lose my mind over the officiating.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I took like a different approach. I'm like, okay, yeah, the ref sucked, but the Bengals like missed opportunities here, 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 and here. Right. So like I said that, and he's like, oh shit, this is the wrong guy.
You're supposed to go off.
Yeah, I was supposed to lose my mind. We had a good conversation. It was fun. He sent me a message afterwards. He's like, oh, dude, I was just giving you shit like you did good, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, man, I love that show. I tweeted about it a lot. People say I kiss his ass too much, but I'm a fan. I like the show, so whatever.
Hey, dude, I would do the same thing if he ever wants me on. So you know, Pat, if you're ever watching, you want another crazy Bengal fan, you know, DM me. I'll come on your show.
I know a guy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. So we are in about less than a week away from the free agency tampering period. And I kind of titled the show Bengal free agent targets. Now, what I've talked about a lot on the show is I believe in my heart that the Bengals have got to go out and sign a right tackle. And I don't think they're going to sign one of the top tier guys. I think it's going to be one of the lower tier guys. And what I keep saying is Illuminore. And he tweeted out today, you know, I'm going to go get married to this wonderful girl. I'll see you guys afterwards. Meaning he's, you know, going to get off Twitter for a while. And I said, you know, congratulations on the marriage and congratulations on being a Cincinnati Bengal next year. Because I believe that the Bengals targeted him. Because I think he's a good spot for a good fit for the Bengals. He can play right tackle. He can play guard. We put him in there, and he can play. And whenever LC gets healthy, you know, you have him. LC doesn't have to hurry up and rush to get back, and maybe come back a little too early. You know, you give LC time because LC everybody's like cutting, but he's not making that much money if he doesn't play. So you give him time to recover. LC can come back, or if Illuminore is playing good, you keep LC as your backup. To me, that's just the thing that I think they should do in free agency, along with signing Hayden Hurst. But what's your thoughts on free agency going into this season here with the Bengals?
So I don't think that they're going to be a player for the tier one guys, right. the big splash guys. Right. So all of these deals that are going to be announced on the first day of legal tampering, where they're like, you know, such and such has agreed to a deal in principle with blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We saw the Alex Kappa signing at 12:01 last year.
Right.
So what's really going to happen is all of these drafts that Adam Schefter has saved in his Twitter drafts since like Valentine's Day or the Combine, when all of these deals really got agreed to, are going to come out.
Right.
I don't see them in the top tier because Duke Tobin said this, and it kind of ruffled some feathers, I guess, but he said that roster building is cyclical, and right now we're at the part where we have to pay our own guys.
Right.
He made it sound like they're not going to be super aggressive. And no, they've been very aggressive, you know, the last few off seasons.
I don't think they have to be. To be honest, Drew, I don't think they have to be. You just need to be. If L did not get hurt, I'm more worried about getting depth pieces and signing our own guys than I am anything else.
Yeah, I think that when you look at where they are in that cycle, I think that he's right, because are you telling me that there's a free agent right now that's going to sign on day one that's worth more attention to them than Joe Burrow and T. Higgins are right now? No.
Right.
Okay. Like, you got to get those deals done. I think the Burrow deal is going to be done. I personally thought, this was just my own thinking, that I thought that they would try to get it done before free agency, so maybe they had a better idea of how they would approach the roster.
Yep.
Doesn't look like that's going to happen. I know Duke said that they're still working on it. So I think when you get to tier 3, I think they might get in the game. I have a list here. Like when you get into offensive linemen specifically, I'm thinking, okay, you can get into the range where you're looking at maybe a Caleb McGarry. I think he might even be a little bit high. I think McGlinchey's going to be a little bit too high.
Yeah.
But then you start looking. There's Ben Powers out there is one that I've looked at. Like you said, pronounce his name for me.
Illuminore.
Illuminore. Okay.
Illuminore.
Yeah. I'm not great at that.
I've worked on it. I think I'm saying it right. Illuminore.
Right. And if they want to attack guard, you know, you got your Dalton Risners out there. I personally think that they're going to give Volson another year.
Oh yeah.
There's been a lot of back and forth about Volson, and I don't know, man. I'm not a PFF grade guy. I think they're a good guideline. I don't think they're gospel. I get a lot more by watching games and watching film back of my opinions personally. I think they run it back with Volson. Um, Regardless of our feelings about it, Jonah Williams is the left tackle next year.
Dude,
He's
I've been banging this drum. I'm like, look, Jonah Williams is average. I'm glad you brought this up because I've said this so many times on the show. Like we wanted last year. We wanted if Joe Burrow, Jack Pat could have an average offensive line, we'd all be happy with it. And all I keep hearing is we got to get rid of Jonah. I'm like, do you guys realize we don't have a right tackle? Jonah Williams is average. Jonah Williams had 2 dislocated kneecaps, and you played on one of them this season. So, I mean, could he make a jump next year? Yes. I mean, what kills you? Like, he gets killed by Garrett by Cleveland. I was like, yeah, because they leave him one-on-one. Like, and he plays him twice. Myles Garrett kills everybody.
Yeah, he's Myles fucking Garrett, man. I'm sorry.
I know. Like,
there are some guys in the league where you're like, hey, man, that guy's probably going to get his, and he's one of them. But, yeah, they also they'll leave him on an island against him and not even chip with the tight end sometimes, which is mind-boggling.
Yeah, I don't totally understand that, but yeah.
When you look at the Bengals, and obviously this is painful and heartbreaking to talk about, but that play of the Super Bowl where he gets hit, where Chase is wide open after Jalen Ramsey falls, that pressure came from Quentin Spain. That pressure came from a guard.
Yep.
You know, you talk about the Chris Jones hit in the AFC Championship game this year. Obviously, Jonah's involved in that, but there's still a lot of pressure that comes from the middle of the line. I'm not here to stand for Jonah Williams by any means. I would like the Bengals to upgrade their left tackle if they could. I would also like to. Right, and that's just the way it is. You have to approach it with understanding how they're going to operate. They didn't pick up Jonah Williams' 5th-year option. I don't know exactly what the salary hit is. It's pretty high though. They didn't pick him up just to cut him or just to let him sit there while somebody else played.
Right.
I'm very big when it comes to how the Bengals are constructed. I worry about the name on the front of the jersey first, and my personal feelings for players second.
Right.
I love certain guys on the roster, but you look at improving every position you can. If they think that they can go find a quarterback that's better than Joe Burrow, that gives the Bengals a better chance to win a Super Bowl than Joe Burrow, for one, they won't find it. But if they did, I love Joe Burrow, but we got to go get the guy that's going to get us a ring, right?
Right.
I don't have anything against Jonah Williams. I don't want to dunk on Jonah Williams. I think Jonah Williams is a run-of-the-mill average left tackle. But when you had Jonah Williams in there and Cordell Volson in there and Ted Karras in there and Alex Kappa in there and Lyle Collins in there, all healthy, after that disaster in Cleveland on Halloween night,
we went and won the next 10 games.
The line played average, and the Bengals won games for 2 months straight.
Right.
Or a little bit more. So,
this is one thing I would love, because I had Parker Blake on earlier this week, and I'm going to reach out to him again. I want to know what the pressure rate was when they were all in there. I know, I can't remember. I know, I think Kappa got hurt first. Up until that point, how many games did they all play together? Because that was a stretch where they all played all the games. Everybody played until they started getting hurt. What was the pressure rate then on Joe? Because I think it was very minimal, to be honest, when they all 5 were in there. And I'm like, if you can just get back to that point, if we had that, all 5 of them in the AFC Championship game against the freaking Chiefs, we're winning that damn game. I don't give a crap what anybody says. Am I wrong?
I personally agree. And people like to get on Cordell Volson for the Pittsburgh game, the first game of the year, his first snap as a rookie 4th rounder.
Yeah.
And they like to get on the AFC Championship game. And he had a rough game. It's Chris Jones, man. Like, I understand that you have to build these lines to go against these elite guys, your TJ Watts, your Myles Garrett, your Chris Jones, your Aaron Donalds. I get that. But at the end of the day, Collins went down on Christmas Eve against the Patriots. Then we lose Kappa playing Week 18 against Baltimore, when we can argue whether or not the Bengals should have even had to play their starters with how the whole schedule change went down and all. Right. You know, we've had that argument. Mm-hmm. But they were winning games without Jamar Chase. They were winning games without T. Higgins. They were winning games when Trenton Irwin was the number 1 receiver, who was just on your show yesterday.
Yep.
So the idea that they need to go sign Orlando Brown is just unrealistic. because the capital that would take, the money it would take to pay him, they have to allocate to Burrow and Higgins. Everybody's saying we can't keep T, we can't keep T.
We can keep him.
The cash fluidity of the Bengals is something that I don't know about, and I haven't seen a person that knows the cash fluidity of the Bengals. It's all speculation. I don't know. I know that the Bengals have always paid their quarterbacks at the top of the market because everybody laughed when we gave Andy Dalton the deal that he got.
Right.
They paid Carson Palmer top of the market money at the time, and then he blew his knee out in the playoff game against Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals have never not paid their quarterbacks. The issue is now all of these guarantees that are coming in.
Right.
And everybody, all these GMs, Duke Tobin, the Ravens, the Chargers, the Eagles, they're all just like sitting there holding their guns, right? Looking at each other, seeing who's going to pull first.
Right.
Because that's going to set the market. But I think that the Bengals can do that. It's not Paycor Stadium all of a sudden for no reason.
Right.
Everybody's like, oh, Mike Brown's so cheap, blah, blah, blah. Mike Brown could have been making money off the name of the stadium for years.
Right.
Mike Brown could have been making money off the Betfred gate and the Alta Fiber gate for years.
Yep.
I still hope that they switch to Skyline and they sponsor the bathroom and they call them the Skyline Shitters. That's what I'm going.
That would be awesome.
I don't know if we're going to get that. So all of these things, the indoor facility with the sponsorship from IEL, all of this stuff is not an accident. Right. So they did it for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, they're going to pay. He's going to be around. Yep. The T. Higgins thing is where maybe it gets a little bit more tricky because you're also going to have Jamar Chase coming up. But looking at the Bengals where they are now, the holes on the roster, I don't think get fixed in free agency with giant free agent deals anymore. You had to go get DJ Reader to be the anchor of your offensive line and make him the highest paid nose tackle in the league at the time. It's probably changed since then, right? You make smart decisions where you let William Jackson go to Washington and then you get Cheeto Awuzie and Mike Hilton for cheaper than William Jackson signed for. And look at those dudes have played and look at what's going on with William Jackson, who just got, I think, cut by Pittsburgh. It's not the time to do that anymore. We've gotten very excited. We've been very refreshed to see the Bengals be aggressive in free agency. I just don't think it happens this year because I think Von Bell's going to stick around. I think he's getting a little bit later into his career.
Yeah, he's only 28.
Wants to win. Mm-hmm. He's only 28. It feels like he's been in the league a lot longer.
I know. He's only 28. So, I mean, he's still on the good side of 30. So, that's what I had Trags in our Mike Petraglia, and he kind of scared me a little bit because he thinks Bell might get 10. I said, if he's getting 10, he ain't coming back. And I said, the Bells won't. But my personal opinion is I think he wants to be here. I think he likes Lou. I think he's at the point of his career where he wants to get that ring. He knows how close he is. So he might come back for 7 or 8, which I think is as high as I would go with Bell. Maybe I'm wrong.
See, that just shows my Twitter bio says professional internet dumbass. That shows I'm a dumbass. I thought he was like 32. So it just feels like he's been in the league so much.
I know. I was kind of surprised too how young he was.
And so when you look at it from that perspective, maybe they do get aggressive on the safety. If they think Bell's going to leave, you're looking at Dax Hill and.
But the free agent market of the safeties is pretty flooded. So I mean, there's a lot of ones that are around what Bell is. So I don't know.
Right.
They kind of might zero each other out. I think. I don't know.
I personally, and I know that it's come out that it may not happen. I really want to see Hayden Hurst back. And if they don't, they should be all over Dalton Schultz. I think Dalton Schultz would be phenomenal in the Bengals offense. I don't know what kind of contract he's going to demand. I don't know, how that's going to go. I know Gesicki's out there. There's not a ton of tight ends, but if you can't get Hayden Hurst back on a deal that makes sense for both, I think that it might, just because Hurst loves Cincinnati so much. He was so complimentary of it helping him find himself. I know he's a big mental health advocate. Yep. He seemed to really love it.
His mom's awesome too. I've had her on the show.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. She's cool.
But the thing is, man, you can love stuff as much as you want, but at the end of the day, it comes down to money. So if he doesn't, I mean, you're looking at holes. The secondary is going to be a little bit different. We don't know how Cheeto's going to be when he comes back.
Luckily,
Cheeto was playing
so
good.
Yeah, luckily Cheeto's more at the beginning of the season, so he has more time to recover. But it's still an ACL. No matter what you do, you don't know what that's going to be like. until he
Well, and
starts
the
getting.
thing with that is, if you look at a lot of guys coming off of ACL tears, let's take Joe Burrow out of this because he's superhuman and took
He's
the
a
team to the
freak.
Super Bowl. But when you look at guys that come off those ACL tears, sometimes it takes them almost a whole year to really get back into it.
Right.
Because this offseason, Cheeto's not working on getting faster and stronger and refining his route, his route coverage. He's not getting, he's not working on getting his hip movement to be more fluid or any of the things that a corner is going to work on. He's working on rehabbing his knee. So a lot of the other areas you can't really dive in on. Somehow Joe Burrow says blowing his knee out made his arm stronger. He's just a freak of nature, and he's
That's
got
crazy.
this serial killer mindset or whatever. But a lot of those
Exactly.
guys, so you've got that going, and then Cam Taylor-Britt came out and played good. Hilton had a rough AFC Championship game. Now everybody wants to jump on him, but then you got Jesse Bates is gone. We all know it. Everybody got so pissed at me when they drafted Dax Hill, and I said, "There's your Jesse Bates replacement."
Yeah, I said the same
I don't.
thing. Yeah.
It is what it is. So they're going to get outside help. I think
Mhm.
people saw Duke Tobin's comments and say where he's not going to sign any free agents. I don't think that's true. I just think you need to temper your expectations and expect more of the tier 2, tier 3
Yeah.
guys that maybe take a little bit longer to materialize. But when you look at the team, there's not major holes.
There's not.
There's places where you can improve, but there's no major. They don't need to go sign a star wide receiver. They got 3 of them.
Mhm.
The running back situation. I know with
Hey,
Mixon,
dude,
his cap hit's high.
we can adjust the running backs in the draft. I really do. I mean, in my opinion, I think Mixon is either going to be cut or restructured. They might bring P Ryan back, but I think we can in this day and age. I hate to say it, but the Chiefs did it. You can go get a 7th round running back and take care of yourself. Real quick, Harold. Before I get too far past this, Keith's got a comment about the Jonah Williams here, and this is always a hot topic here. I said Jonah doesn't matter, but he's been hurt 3 of the 4 years, and will be hurt or get Burrow hurt in his 5th year. If Jonah is average, it's not a good average. Jonah needs to compete for the job with Jackson Carman, which cracks me up when people bring up Jackson Carman. A year ago, beginning of the year, everybody saying Jackson Carman's going to be cut. Now everybody's saying, well, let him compete for the left tackle. Jackson Carman had one really good game against Buffalo. He was okay against Kansas City. He wasn't that great. I mean, he's okay against Kansas City. He was average against there. So that just cracks me up. And the thing is, I think Blake brought this up, or Parker Blake brought this up on my show, that most of the time the sacks that Jonah gave up, the sacks are coming from the other side, where Joe ran toward Jonah's side, and then he got sacked behind him. It wasn't actually Jonah giving up the sack. It was on his side, but he didn't actually do it. And yes, I do agree with what he says about him getting hurt. He has been. I can't argue with that. But that's where I'm like, we got to get depth. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on I just rambled on there. What's your thoughts?
The Jackson Carman thing, I was against the Jackson Carman pick from the moment he got drafted. I saw a lot of 3rd round grades on him. I saw him coming off of back surgery. I wasn't in on it. But what I want to say in defense of Jackson Carman, they're not giving him much stability. Okay, we're going to draft you. You're a tackle. You're going to come in. You're going to play guard. He struggled. There were reports of work ethic stuff that we don't actually know about because we're not in the building.
Right.
But okay. Now injuries happen. Play tackle. Play all right at tackle. Now we're supposed to take him from right tackle and just say, well, this offseason you're going to go to left tackle. They're not giving this kid too much of a chance either if they're just going to keep shuffling his position. And you know what I mean? Like, I know he practices with both groups, but practicing with both groups is not practicing your craft at left tackle or at right tackle. So I was never high on the pick, but at the same time, I feel like you give the kid a better chance.
Jack, go watch my show with Parker Blake. If you guys have go, I was earlier this week. Go find a show with Parker Blake on, and he will debunk everything you guys are saying. So if you didn't watch it, because I don't want to quote it because I'm probably wrong, but go watch that show. Anyway, sorry, Blake.
I love Parker, man. Parker Blake is like
Parker's
my
awesome.
Go-to for offensive line stuff. Like I said, I'm not big on the numbers and the PFF and the advanced stats. It's just not something I've ever gotten into.
He
I
knows
get a lot of my opinions by watching.
Yeah, he knows way better than I do. So,
but you can get good information from those numbers. I just personally don't think that they're the end all be all. But
Right.
I talk to Parker a lot one-on-one. I see a lot of the content Parker puts out. Parker is my go-to guy for trench information. That dude is so smart, so sharp. I try my best to like get his work out there to as many people as possible. So if you're watching this and you don't follow Parker Blake, look him up. He is a phenomenal follow, and you will become smarter about offensive line.
Yes,
by doing
exactly. So that's where I'm like, it always cracks me up because I had Evan McPhillips on here, and he's on Malik's show as well. And he kind of went off. If you guys watched Malik's show last night, Evan went off, and last week Evan went off about Jonah Williams. Same thing he did on Malik's show, did on my show last week. And that's the thing I'm getting tired of. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, we got to fix the left tackle." I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, yes, he's like I keep saying he's average. I am not saying he's an all-pro. Hell, he probably won't be here after next year. I can totally see them moving on and trying to get somebody else. But you're not signing Orlando Brown when you got to sign Jackpot Joey, and everybody wants us to sign T. Higgins, and next year we got Jamar Chase. You can't do it. I mean, Parker Blake had a perfect way to do it. He goes, you spend money on the three offensive guys and your defense, and you kind of, I don't want to say cheapen out, but you find plug and play guys in your offensive line and your running backs, and which means I'm not saying cheap guys. I mean what they've done the last couple of years with Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, guys like that, and we're talking about Illuminore. Those are the guys you can get in there, and you can get them for a 2 or 3 year deal, and they'll cost you a ton of money, but they're not the elite, offensive linemen. I mean, hell, Kansas City can't afford Orlando Brown. They let him go. I mean, that's the thing with this. I mean. Boggles just sorry. I just try. Look every day. Good.
Look at the contracts of the guys that they got last year. Okay, Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, Lyle Collins. All three of those deals combined for $21 million in guaranteed money. That's the route that they're going to have to take on their offensive line if they want to keep Burrow, Higgins, and Chase.
Yep.
I love Tyler Boyd. I love Tyler Boyd staying down through the bad years and helping build it to the good years. But I also think that he's going to be a candidate for a restructure or a release.
Yep. Well, maybe not this year, but probably more next year. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the name of the game. But I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted what they think is a left tackle this year if one falls to them at 28 or early on day 2.
Yeah.
And I'm completely in for that. I'm not saying Jonah Williams is the franchise left tackle for the next 10 years. No. I'm also not saying that Jonah Williams is Bobby Hart. There's a middle ground there that you can find and respect the game that he plays. But yeah, and there's been a lot of talk about Joe Mixon. Obviously, today it comes out that he is not a suspect in the shooting that occurred at a house connected to him, which is obviously good. There's a lot of crazy stuff on the internet about that. But this is a conversation I've been on since before any of his off-the-field stuff has happened.
Me too.
He's got a $12 million cap hit.
You can't pay him $12 million.
The Bengals offense does not use a running back in a way that justifies paying him $12 million a year. I like Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon is another guy that stuck around when things were bad and has been a big part of getting things to be good.
Yep.
I brought this up after the whole crazy thing happened where I said, look, 2 off-the-field incidents in the news for the wrong reasons. The legitimacy of them, I don't know, but they're not good looks. His production has slipped. The offense's use of him has gone down. He's not catching out of the backfield as well as he used to. And he has a high cap hit. That is a recipe for a split or a contract restructure.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, I'm good with either one. And I'm not dogging Joe Mixon. I said that, and people told me I was preying on his downfall. And
I've said that too. I was saying this. Hell, I was saying this probably last year. They're probably going to have to restructure him because of the cap hit. I was saying this way before any of this stuff came out. You cannot pay in this market. And the way the Bengals run the ball, you cannot pay a running back $12 million. And that's why, Drew, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back not
P. Ryan?
Not P. Ryan, the other one.
Travion?
I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back Travion and draft 2 guys. I mean, I would be surprised. I would be surprised they do that.
The Bengals can do that. If the offense is going to operate the way that it does, you need to look for 2 things. You need to keep a running back on your roster that's good in pass protection, which is, I think, a P. Ryan. Yeah. Mixon wasn't great in pass protection. I also think, damn, Prime Geo with this offense would have been insane.
Oh,
Prime Geo Bernard would have been nuts. But the Bengals can draft and replace a running back every 3 to 4 years if the offense is going to continue to run that way. There's just not a justification to put $12 million in your salary cap into a running back with how the Bengals offense is run. And that's not even a shot at Joe Mixon. That's just how the offense operates. But if you look at it league-wide, Zeke got a big contract in Dallas. The best running back on his team last year was Tony Pollard.
Right.
There's a handful of guys that you pay that kind of money to. You pay that money to a Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, I think, is the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
It sucks that he plays for Cleveland, but I think that he is. You pay a Christian McCaffrey. You pay a Derrick Henry. And after that, it becomes very debatable. It's just the way that the position is. It's the way that the league's going. The rules are geared more toward passing. Everything's geared more toward passing, and it's not a shot at Joe Mixon. I like Joe Mixon. I think that Joe Mixon's been a big part of the culture change that we've seen because Dunlap wasn't in.
Mm-hmm.
Geno was let go, and they stuck with Boyd. They stuck with Mixon. They stayed in through the terrible 2019 year and all of that stuff. But roster building and team Bengals coming first, I just don't see it. I think he has to get restructured or they have to move on.
Now, one thing, Jocko on here, Jocko Johnson says draft Bijan Robinson. Look,
I've seen that.
We did a mock draft, and there was certain things had to happen for the Bengals to actually do that. I personally don't think they're going to draft a running back in the first round because historically, the running backs that drafted in the first round have not worked out. Chris Perry, Kajana Carter. There's lots of them, but I don't think they're going to do that because the running backs are going to be more. I think we're going to get a running back. I really don't think we're going to touch a running back till 4th, 5th, 6th round, somewhere around there. Because I think two things. I think they're going to look for offensive line, tight ends, and DBs. Those are the first 3 things I think they got to get off the board because they only got 7 picks. And now one thing that they might do, Drew, is if the way depending on how the board falls, if a whole bunch of guys that they like are falling to 28 and might make it to the 2nd round, or if you move back a couple, which will go back like 2 spots, but say they trade out of the 1st round and they move up really high in the 2nd round, they could do that and add more picks, add a 3rd or 5th, they have 2 2nd rounds or something like that. I can see them doing that to get more picks because you only got 7. And the tight end room is pretty good. Offensive line, that's what scares me. It's not that great. That's why if there's 2 or 3 of them there at 28, maybe if you move to the top of the 2nd round, you might get one. You might not. So, but tight end, I think is deep. Running back, I think is deep. DB is fairly deep. So you can get some pretty good guys later on in the round. So I wouldn't be surprised if they move back. But I don't see them taking Bijan Robinson at number 1. And I love Bijan. I went to the NFL Combine to just watch him run. I want to see that dude run in person. So I mean, I'm a big Bijan Robinson fan. I personally just don't think they're going to draft him there at number 1.
No, I don't see that. I would be all over their 2nd round pick being Zach Charbonnet from UCLA, though. I think that he's going to be very good. I think that's probably as high as we could possibly see them even consider a running back. I might be biased. I'm a Michigan fan. I watched the beginning of Zach Charbonnet's career at Michigan, and then he transferred out. But his running style, I think, would fit. He's capable out of the backfield. He's solid in pass protection. I think that he's a guy that you could plug and play, but you get him in the 2nd round, you have him for those 4 years, and then you do it again. Or you draft a replacement in year 3. If Zach Taylor's going to be here, and this is going to be his offense, that's how you have to approach the running back situation is the 2nd, 3rd round guys that you just shuffle in and out every few years, and that's just the way it goes. And I think that they could have plenty of success doing that. I do want to see Samaje Perine come back because
I would love to see Samaje come back. I mean, I think I give Ted Karras credit, and we both love Ted Karras. He's been on both our shows. But
I got the Cincy hat on right now.
Exactly. Ted Karras actually said Perine could be an offensive lineman, as good as a pass blocker he is. I mean, honestly, Samaje actually fits the Bengals offense better than Joe Mixon does right now, just because he can pass block, he can run, and he can catch passes. And Drew, I'm to the point where almost the running back has got to be able to pass block in this system. That's got to be
absolutely
the most. I won't say the most important thing, but it's freaking up there, dude. You got to be,
It's
because
high up there.
we can't be switching guys out all the time. It just takes the realm of surprise or whatever out. You can't. Oh, okay, Mixon's out. They're passing. You can't.
Yeah, you need capable pass protecting running backs.
Right.
Yeah, and Piran, when I watched the games last year, the ground game looked better when he was getting the bulk of the carries. It's just the way that it went. I know Mixon had the crazy 5-touchdown game against Carolina, and that was awesome. But when I really looked at the offense, I felt like the ground game was better with Piran. And there may be numbers that prove that wrong. I'm just going from my eye test. I'm a big eye test guy.
Yeah, right.
So there's ways to approach that, and what moving on or restructuring Mixon could do is open up money for Burrow, for Higgins, or if they already think that they have that mapped out, a higher on the list offensive lineman free agent, or we also got linebacker we're going to have to replace. I mean, I think Jermaine Pratt walks, so is that I think that they're just going to put Akeem Davis-Gaither in there, and
I think Davis-Gaither and Marcus Bailey. I think that's because a couple years ago they drafted with 3 linebackers in a row, or in the same draft, I should say. So yeah, I think Akeem Davis-Gaither and Marcus Bailey are going to be in there. And I know Marcus Bailey was on Bengals and Brews this past weekend, and he's all for the opportunity. He was not throwing any shade at Pratt at all. He wants Pratt to get his money, or wants obviously prefer him to come back. But he goes, if it doesn't happen, he goes, I'm ready to go. Which Marcus Bailey, let's be honest, if he doesn't get hurt his senior year of college, he's at least a 2nd round pick. So I mean,
Marcus Bailey's got high upside.
Yeah, so you got 2 really good backup, quote unquote, backup linebackers that can fit in pretty well, I think.
Akeem Davis-Gaither is extremely athletic, extremely talented, and anytime I've watched him play significant snaps, like what he did against the Jets this past season, he had a hell of a game. I think that Akeem Davis-Gaither could step in and play the Jermaine Pratt role just as good as Jermaine Pratt has, and that's not a knock on Pratt. I like Pratt. Pratt's super athletic. He started out as a safety and then transitioned to linebacker.
Yeah.
But I think that Akeem Davis-Gaither can fill in very, very admirably and play damn near as good as Jermaine Pratt if he gets a full season of work. And Marcus Bailey rotating in is solid too. And Joe Bachie just got re-signed today. I don't know if you guys remember when Logan Wilson went down against the Chargers on a punt return. It was either a punt or a punt return. I was at the game. I got COVID at that game, I'm pretty sure. But
good memory.
yeah, that's how I remember that one. And we almost came back and beat the Chargers. But Joe Bachie came in, and he was all over the place. And then Clay Johnston last year, I know it's the preseason, against the Jets, he dominated. I think the Bengals have a lot of linebacker depth that they could really play on and kind of stand pat with and not see a huge drop in production. And linebacker is another position in the NFL where it's getting very hard to pay a linebacker a ton of money because everybody's going nickel now. So, Bobby Wagner had 140 tackles for the Rams last year, played his ass off, and they're moving on from him because he's just too expensive.
Right. That's just the way it is. Now, Bo Brown here says, we all think we've actually totally touched on this. He said, who do you guys want at 28? Best case scenario, I want Darnell Wright. Now, for me, again, I when we first started this, I'm like, I want to get a tight end. I want to get Michael Mayer. I want to get Darnell Wright. I want to get these guys. But the more I've dug into this and more I've looked at how the Bengals have lost and their seasons have ended the last 2 years, it's been offensive line. I want them to sign one, like I've said before. And Dwan Jones, if he's there, I'm running to the freaking board and I'm drafting him. I would love to get a right tackle in free agency and a future tackle in the draft. What's your thoughts on 28 there, Drew?
I need Dwan Jones at right tackle week 1 bad. And people give me a lot of shit because I'm a Michigan fan. I go out of my way to piss off Ohio State fans. It's in my nature. But man, once it comes time to put stripes on your helmet, if you can help the Bengals win, I don't care where you went to school. Sam Hubbard's my favorite Buckeye of all time. So when I look at DeJuan Jones, man, I see a 10-year right tackle. The dude is a house.
Dude,
he's a monster. His arms are just insanely long.
Yeah.
And
he's a mountain.
Obviously free
mountain.
agency comes before the draft, but if you can get DeJuan Jones at 28 and he's your day one starting right tackle, I'm already happy as hell. I am so in on him. I cannot believe it.
I mean,
the tight end from
the reason I keep going with free agent because I don't really necessarily believe that DeJuan will be there. There's a very good chance that he won't be. That's why
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think he
so
is.
big on trying to sign somebody, because I don't want to go into this draft and have to find somebody. That's my big thing. Anyway, go ahead, tight ends.
Well, that's how on that point.
Okay.
That's how you get Billy Price.
Right.
We
yes.
wanted Frank Ragnow.
Yep.
To play center. He went right before us to Detroit. We panicked. We picked Billy Price. Now, thankfully, we turned Billy Price into B.J. Hill somehow.
Yes,
and I'm not trying to knock Billy Price.
No.
I'm not trying to knock Billy Price, but it just didn't work out. And when you draft for need like that, that's why people are so big on best player available, and I get it. You can't just say, we got to get a right tackle at 28, and all of a sudden you get a guy that should have gone in the back end of the second round that maybe you could have got there, depending on how the board falls. Right. But I think that it's going to be an offensive lineman if one they like falls. It's going to be a tight end, or it's going to be a defensive back. I think those are the only three options. And there's a lot of corners. Yeah. There's a pretty deep corner class this year. I know people would maybe struggle with this at first because of the name I'm about to say, but Joey Porter Jr. is a baller.
Dude, I've said that, and Drew, I mean, there's part of me that I want that so bad, because I want his dad to have to show up to Paycor and wear orange and freaking black and cheer for the damn Bengals. I would laugh my ass off. But
that's where I wrestle with it, because I hate Joey Porter.
I hate Joey Porter.
I
hate him. I can't stand that dude. But his son is a baller, dude. I mean, I'm down for it too. So, like I said,
I'm not sure he's
so
there.
Open. Exactly. And that one thing, Drew, is I keep saying this: if they sign Hayden Hurst and they sign a right tackle, 28 is completely open. You don't have to reach for anything. That's why I so badly want them to sign a right tackle, sign Hayden Hurst, and then you can go BPA. Just sit and wait and see which way the draft falls to you. And it could be. I mean, Dan Hoare was on my show this week, and he thinks that they're going to draft a cornerback. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens either.
Well, and I wouldn't either, because Cheeto's coming off the injury. Cheeto's also getting close to the end of his deal. Mm-hmm. We don't know what he's going to look like. And that sucks so bad, man, because he was playing so damn good.
Oh, he was a Pro Bowl this year.
Oh my God, he was playing so. I hated that for him, man. And he was back, within a week after his surgery, wearing cleats on the sidelines. He just loved being there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, DB's where they're gonna, we've got to face George Pickens and Deontay Johnson and Donovan Peoples-Jones and Amari Cooper. So we've got to stay fresh on DBs too, because the depth is now suddenly in question. I know Jalen Davis came back, but I mean, you look at the starting three next year. You assume Cheeto's going to be back. You assume Hilton's going to be back in the slot. You assume Cam Taylor-Britt's going to start on the outside, because I couldn't have been happier with Cam Taylor-Britt this year.
That's my boy.
Yeah, I could not, man. I've met his parents at tailgates and games. Super cool people. Love him. But I think the sticking point is going to be Cheeto, because if Cheeto does come back and is playing the kind of ball that he was playing again last year, the paycheck is going to be in very high demand too. We haven't even talked about the fact that we need to pay Logan Wilson.
Yeah.
Under no circumstance can Logan Wilson leave.
No, if you're letting Pratt go, you got to keep Wilson. You
absolutely.
Have to. I mean, that thing is, Logan is under the same contract as T and Joe. They all were drafted in the same freaking draft, which is, I think, one of the greatest drafts in Bengals history. I mean, you got
they nailed.
You got Joe, you got T, you got Logan Wilson, you got Akeem Davis-Gaither, and you got Marcus Bailey all in the same damn draft. Duke Tobin hit that one out of the ballpark. That one was awesome. But yeah, that thing is, like we talked about, I thought Joe was going to get handled before free agency. I don't think it's going to happen. It might be more, it might be more closer to the summertime, beginning of the season, because Duke, one thing he said last week in his press conference, to me, it kind of sounded like they have the basis of like his first couple years. Like they know that part. So that helps Duke and them know what they can work with as far as the money goes. Like, all right, we agreed on this part. Now we got to work on, bonuses or whatever the rest of it is. So it sounds like they have some part of it hammered out. Now, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if T and Logan, it might be next year before they sign them. I don't know, because T's agent scares the crap out of me. He's the same one with Jesse Bates. He's the same one with Deshaun Watson. I freaking love T. Higgins. I love his mom to death. I've met her. She's cool as hell. I want them to stay here. I think they want to be here. I don't want his agent to just go, nope, you got to get the biggest money you can. And I'm not saying, and I'm never against anybody for getting as much money as you can. If that's what you want to do, like Jesse Bates, God love you, go get your bag, and
don't go to Cleveland, but go get paid.
Don't go to Cleveland. Please don't go to Cleveland. No one wants to go there. But that's where I'm worried about that is, how much will they get? I mean, I know T's gonna be more than Logan, but those are things that got to happen. Hopefully, we get one of them signed this year, and worry about the other one next year.
And I think when Chase was at the Super Bowl and said Burrow knows how he wants to structure his contract, I think that it's going to be more similar to a Patrick Mahomes deal, because Mahomes deal came out and everybody's like, oh my God, he got a 10-year, $500 million deal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, it's left the Chiefs very cap flexible.
Yep.
They lost Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill wasn't willing to come down $1 or $2 million a year.
Right.
Okay, that's cool. Go get your money. Go to Miami. That's fine. But I don't know. If Burrow can structure it right, and Higgins says that he wants to be with Burrow for a long time and be around for a long time, maybe he takes $1 million or $2 million off his deal to make it happen, and you can make that back off the field. But we're in a holding pattern until those deals are done now. And as you approach this offseason, I think that they're going to have to nail their draft picks again, and I think that the fan base is going to have to expect the tier 2. Tier 3 free agents to come in where they can find some value. Nobody was tripping over themselves to sign Ted Karras last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a knock on Ted Karras. I love that guy.
But
he wasn't a top sought after free agent.
But Drew, that's what they've done with all their free agents. They signed last couple of nobody's tripping over stuff for Cheetah Bay. I never heard of Cheetah Bay before. Mike Hilton. I mean, I knew who he was because he was stupid squealers. But none of these guys were top tier free agents. They're all second, maybe third, depending where, and they've come here and they've gotten better, so that's where I think, that's what I keep saying.
Yeah.
Illuminati, these are the guys that the Bengals have done the whole time. We haven't signed a big name guy. Well, we haven't. I mean, they've all got here and they've gotten better and they've helped the Bengals out here. Now, real quick here, people have been telling me this about Joe's contract. Matthew, you put it in there too, but Stranger says ICE, they won't announce the deal, talk about Jack by Joey, until after April 1st because waiting pushes the 75% of the guaranteed escrow until next April 1st. So that might be, I don't know enough about contracts or anything, but I knew there's a lot of escrow and all that stuff. So that might be what they're waiting on. Because I know one of those two tweeted that out to me a couple times. So it might be in principle that might have agreed to in April 1st day, which is cool. It's my birthday month. I'll be here for it.
What an April Fool's joke it would be if they just tweeted out, like, we cannot reach an agreement with Burrow. We're going to stop negotiating until after next season. People would flip the fuck out.
Houday Nation would freak out. Like, oh, my God. I would freak out. I'm like, no! Don't do that.
But that may be true. This guarantees and escrow thing I didn't really know about until the Watson deal hit, and who actually kind of got me up to speed on it was Zim Houday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that money has to move to escrow, and that's where everybody's like, "Oh, the Bengals are so poor." Listen, Jimmy Haslam has a ton of cash because he was scamming truck drivers at Pilot J or whatever, and these guys have other business interests that bring them a bunch of money, and they have a lot of cash fluidity. That's fine. The Bengals are really the only income Mike Brown sees. Right? It's a mom and pop. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're still an NFL franchise. I don't know the cash liquidity, whatever. I don't know that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's not like they got a bank account sitting somewhere and they're like, oh shit, we only got $100,000 in here. What are we gonna do? Like, they've got money. I just don't know. Like, I'm 0% worried about Burrow getting a contract.
Oh, dude.
When I look at Christian Kirk's money in Jacksonville, they had to overpay because at the time they were the Jags and they stink. But now they're getting better. But when it comes to the wide receiver market, that's where I think it might get a little bit trickier. But my gut feeling is still that T resigns in Cincinnati and we just keep this thing rocking. That's how I feel right now about T Higgins' contract. Gut feeling, they figure it out.
My thing is those three love each other. They love playing with each other. I know they're like, oh, it's a big love fest, but they're also they're want to be known for other things than just getting money, because they're all going to be rich. I mean, they're already rich. They're going to be even richer, but they want a legacy. I think they want to be known as the best to play the game, and they can't. I think they know they can't do that without each other. So I this is just me. Maybe I'm
the other side of that, though. The other side of that, is there any part of T Higgins that's just like, man, I'm a number one receiver, and it's always about Chase. I want to go be a number one somewhere and get my money. Maybe.
I mean, I'll tell you this.
Maybe.
I used to, before his dad passed away, God rest his soul, I used to talk to him, and his dad was like, and that's just from his dad. He would say, look, I'm cool with T being a number 2. That's just his dad, not T. I understand that. Just pay him what he deserves or whatever, and let's go on. Now, like I said, that's his dad. That's not T. This is he's unfortunately Eric's not here anymore, passed away. But that's what he told me in just conversations that we had. So that's where people say that. Which he could. I don't know. Maybe he could say, screw it. I want to be a number 1 guy, which he could be. I mean, he could be a number 1 wide receiver on 99% of the NFL teams,
Yeah.
But just the stuff that they've talked about, I don't know. And then people would come at me like, well, what are they supposed to say? I'm like, well, they don't have to say anything. They literally don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
They can just say, it's up to my agent. They don't put that stuff out there. So that's where I just believe in my heart. And like I said, maybe I've got orange-colored sunglasses on, but I think they all 3 want to stay here. And I think they want to go after a Hall of Fame resume, and let's put it as a wide receivers need a quarterback. And I love TJ Houshmandzadeh. I put this out all the time. I love TJ Houshmandzadeh. But once he left the Bengals, he didn't do squat. I mean, he went to Seattle, didn't have a quarterback. Then I think he ended up in Baltimore, they didn't have a quarterback. Then he was out of the league. Wide receivers, you could be Megatron. If you ain't got Matthew Stafford to throw you the ball, it don't matter. You got to have a quarterback.
No, I agree.
So that's why another reason why I don't think they're going to go anywhere. But that's just my thoughts. Anyway, you've been on for, geez, how long have we been on for? We've been on for 51 minutes. I can't see.
There we go.
51 minutes. Anyway, Drew, I appreciate you coming on, dude. This has been a great conversation. We didn't even get into sports betting or anything. But you got any good bets coming out here? You want to talk about?
I've been getting killed.
You're getting killed?
Look, Sunday, I beat up Betfred.
Yeah.
I won I hit him for $600 betting on the NBA on Sunday.
There you go.
Monday, I came through with another right hook. I took him for 748.
Woo! Now we're talking. And then what happened?
And then Tuesday hit, got my ass whooped. Last night, got my ass whooped. I built out this parlay. I'm like, dude, this is money. I put $100 on it. I'm gonna win, I think 460 or something. I need Kevin Love to hit 1 3-pointer against the Cavs in like a revenge game, right? He just got let go, went to Miami. He's gonna hit a 3. Yeah. I missed it by that one, and I missed it by 1 rebound from Bam Adebayo. I bet for 2 rebounds on this guy. He's 7 foot tall, and he got 1.
He only got 1 rebound last night? Are you kidding?
1 rebound. Killed me. Killed me.
Oh, dude.
So
that's crazy.
I'm taking today off. I'm licking my wounds.
Need to recruit.
I'm looking at the numbers like, okay, I'm still up, about $1,200 or so on the week, whatever it is. I'm still doing good, but I'm licking my wounds today. I'm sitting out. I'm taking it's NBA, it's load management. I'm taking a rest day.
There you go. Well, I haven't even been watching NBA. Well, I watch Cavs a lot, but I've been watching this Champ Week, so I've been watching a ton of college basketball. And before I got on here, Kansas was beating West Virginia. I mean, I'm not a West Virginia fan, but I'm a Bearcat fan, so I still root for Hugs. I know my Bearcats are playing tomorrow at 3:00. They're playing Temple. Dude, you got to. I'm like, I don't know if it's a Bengals show, but you got any odds on the Bearcats going to the tournament? They got to win this whole thing, I think, for them to get there, to have a shot at this thing.
I would like to see them in the first 4. So I live in Dayton. I live right outside of Dayton.
Oh yeah, dude, they're the first 4. I'm going.
Well, I'm going with Better Than Vegas and Betfred. They're actually putting me boots on the ground, sending me to the game.
Nice.
To all 4 of the games. So, and this can't get out too big, but I'm a little lucky. My dad works security at UD Arena, so I can get in a little bit quicker. Still got to get tickets, but I would love to see UC there. I would love to see a team that I really know and that I really recognize. Obviously, I'm gonna put some money on it, but I think they could probably sneak in there. But yeah, they're gonna have to run the conference tourney, I think.
Yeah, they got, and the second round is Houston. And oh god, I would love.
Houston's good, man.
Dude, we haven't beat Houston in I think 3 or 4 years, and they have it hasn't even been close. They whooped our ass. Now last time we were leading damn near the whole game, and we still ended up losing. Like, oh my god, I hate Houston. I would love to beat them. Anyway, Drew, you've been on for a while. I appreciate you, man. Have fun. I hope you get on McAfee's show again, and definitely you got a podcast or anything coming out anytime soon. Hit me up. I'll definitely promote it.
I don't know, man. Maybe the viewers can tell me. Well, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've tried doing podcasts a couple times. Nobody fucking listens to them. What am I doing wrong?
Dude, I've been doing this 5 years. Like I said, dude, I've been doing this for 5 years. I literally had Trenton Irwin on my show last night, and it just now hit over 100 views. I would think that one should hit 1,000. Me being a goofball yesterday, just talking to my buddies on here, we had over 100 views on that. It's higher than the one with Trenton Irwin. Ted Karras still hasn't hit 1,000 views. I don't know.
Yeah,
I did, dude.
I did the Ted Karras interview, but that wasn't really on a podcast. That was just we set that up, and that went to the Cincy Jungle YouTube channel where they have they have a bigger subscriber base than I. I have 0 YouTube subscribers. Maybe that's my problem. I've never tried to learn YouTube or figure out how to be good on YouTube. I just learned how to live stream on YouTube, but I don't know shit about what to do on YouTube.
I'm learning every day, brother. Every day I'm learning. Trying to figure this stuff out.
I've been thinking about diving back into it, though. I've been thinking about getting back into the podcast game a little bit and just I'm a dumbass on Twitter all day. I can be a dumbass on a microphone.
Hey,
too.
you got more Twitter followers than I do, so you're doing something right there.
I appreciate it, man. Have a good night, and I look forward to coming back on soon.
Hell yeah, who day, bro?
Who day?
All right, guys, go follow Drew. He's a great follow on Twitter. He writes for Cincy Jungle. Go check him out there. Maybe he'll do a podcast again sometime soon. Maybe he won't. I don't know. We'll see. It was a very interesting conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's get to the Facebook groups. That let me live stream and go watch my Ted Karras video and go watch Trenton Irwin. Let's try to get some more people watching these, get some more views. No, I appreciate you guys. Let's get to Facebook groups. They are Who Day Nation, Who Day Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Radical Reds, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Strawberry Ice on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trinable. TikTok is at Iceman90. I will be pulling a sound off later on tonight, putting it on the podcast. It'll be on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Give me a 5-star review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. Like, seriously, the 5 stars, the comments, that helps push the podcast. So if you guys could take a minute to do that on the podcast, I would appreciate it. YouTubers, you guys are awesome. Like I said, you guys are the reason I keep being able to do this. Like I said, Drew's got more followers than I do, and he can't get as many subscribers as I do on YouTube. So bottom of my heart, I appreciate you guys. I'm at 2,139 subscribers. Let's keep pushing that. Let's try to get to 3,000. You know, I'm like I said, like me and Drew have this conversation, trying to figure out how to get more views on the show and everything. And maybe it's I don't have enough followers on Twitter. Maybe I don't, because Bleak Wright goes on there and it's just him and Ed McPherson and sorry, I can't remember who the other guy was on the show. And they got like 3 million views. I'm like or 3,000 views. Like, how do you do that? Anyway, just tell everybody, get people get subscribed some more. I'd appreciate it. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. I got to check this out. Who I got on tomorrow? You know, I do this all the time because I forget, because I am constantly talking to people to coming on. Oh, yeah, tomorrow's cool. I got the Bengals Superfans on. If you don't know who they are, they're the family in I think outside Buffalo, New York. They do the videos for the hype videos for the Bengals game every week. It's his son and $3, and they are awesome. So it's going to be a really fun show tomorrow, fun Football Friday show. Make sure you guys check that out. Other than that, let's go watch college basketball, and I can't wait till next week. So we have the free agency starting to happen. Ready? That's just sports, baby. See ya!
In the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black, and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite. Cincinnati, we gon' rise. In the jungle, we unite. Dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tiger stripe the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin', who that? Time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati, jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' out. Thunder through the tunnel from the and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white all day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like an on? Now who wanna move?